You know what's awesome?
What's awesome besides America, Tim?
Besides myself, the fucking loudmouths are awesome
Do you know why the loudmouths are awesome, Tim?
because we can say shit that you can't say in real life. That's what we do. And
Every
guess
day.
what, Ron? Guess what?
What? Tell me what.
We're going live in 3, 2, 1. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's the Loudmouths, your boy, the liberal Loudmouth, and I'm here as always with
The real Ron. That was
Woo.
amazing intro that you put together for us, sir. I love that. I love that.
And we did that on the fly, didn't we? We just recorded that. If you notice, it's the same stuff. But yeah, we're like, you know what? We need some pizzazz up in this biatch.
Yeah, we need to spice it up a little bit. We need to go over the edge.
Yeah. So that's what we do.
Thanks for everybody that's watching already. Thank y'all.
Yeah, thanks for showing up, showing your support. We got an interesting show today. It's a Sunday gospel, as always, and we got some religion going on today, don't we?
I love Sunday gospel. I'm gonna tell you right now, you may want to buckle up. This might be a little bit rough on you.
Yeah, this one is probably gonna upset some folks, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, you ain't gonna add any shit.
We all get butt hurt every now and then.
You're not gonna add any shit to my credit report by not liking me, so you're fine.
So today's, we wanted to go live because Hamas and Israel, and now I'm getting some background. Are you hearing yourself too? Are you playing yourself through your speakers or through your headphones?
Through my headphones.
Interesting. Okay, I'm hearing something in the back. It's screwing me up. But anyway, we wanted to go live because, Hamas basically invaded Israel. I mean, good luck with that. But how do you think that's going to turn out for them, Ron?
I mean, they've been doing this shit for thousands of years, right? I mean, but since 48, or 45, was it 47? When was Israel formed?
I think it was 48.
48.
There's the Balfour Declaration is what started that. I actually have a video that I want to show. Just kind of lead into all of this so everybody's on the same page, because I wanted to find one that was just strictly historical and goes over all of what happened, and I found one that's very nonpartisan, I guess would be a good way to put it. I hope I didn't. There we go. Yeah, I've got it here. Let me go ahead and share my screen real quick.
Yeah, because I don't know anything about Israel, really. I'm not Jewish. I don't know anything about Palestinians either, except that they fight each other all the fucking time.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I think Palestinians are Muslims, usually, like 98% of them.
Right. You could just say Arabs, really. This right here, this video, I'm going to pull it up here. This will set the stage for what we're talking about. All right, here we go. Can you see it?
I cannot.
For some reason, you can't?
No.
That's...
I can see it in the backstage. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go.
All right, let me hit play.
Palestine went from this to this, and it didn't happen overnight. Up until the early 1900s, Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire, a religiously diverse land where Muslims, Christians, and Jews lived alongside each other. Then, things begin to change, with the start of the Zionist movement in Europe calling for the establishment of an independent Jewish state, ideally in Palestine. The first wave of European Jews start to immigrate. By the end of World War I, the Ottoman Empire collapses and Palestine is under British rule. It's 1917. Britain declares its support for a Jewish homeland in Palestine. The number of Jewish settlers grow, fueling tensions between the Arabs and the Jews. The violence between the two sides caused Britain to bow out and let the UN take over. The UN approves of a plan to split Palestine into two states: Jewish Israel, Arab Palestine. The city of Jerusalem, which is sacred to Muslims, Christians, and Jews, is now a UN-controlled international zone. Jews accept the UN partition plan and declare independence as the State of Israel. But neighboring Arab countries object to the land takeover. This marks the beginning of the First Arab-Israeli War. Israel is victorious and makes a grab for the land intended for the Palestinian state under the UN. The land gets divided into three parts. Jordan occupies the West Bank and East Jerusalem, Egypt occupies Gaza, and the state of Israel takes 78% of historic Palestine, including West Jerusalem. 700,000 Palestinians become refugees as a result, and the day is remembered as al-Nakba, the catastrophe. It's 1967. The Six-Day War breaks out between Israel and neighboring Arab countries, and by the end of it, the map looks something like this. Palestine is now fully occupied by Israel. Despite the absence of a formal peace treaty, things start simmering down. Then Israelis start settling into Gaza and the West Bank, resulting in an Israeli-Palestinian struggle that gives rise to the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization. Their main goal? To liberate Palestine from Israel by any means necessary. Fighting goes on for years. The PLO eventually accepts dividing the land between Palestine and Israel, but the conflict doesn't end there. More settlers make their way into Israeli-occupied Palestinian territories. The international community considers this illegal. The frustration of the Palestinians leads to an intifada. As a result, Hamas is born, a political movement determined to fight against Israeli occupation of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. The United States, Israel, and the PLO signed the Oslo Agreement to split the West Bank into 3 sections. Area A, under full Palestinian control. Area B, under joint Palestinian-Israeli control. And Area C, under full Israeli control. But the solution creates a problem. Area C contains the majority of West Bank's agricultural land, water, and minerals. Palestinians have limited access to these. Further peace talks prove unsuccessful. Palestinians lose hope, resulting in the second intifada, and Israel begins building walls and setting checkpoints to control Palestinian movement. It's 2005. Israel withdraws from Gaza, but continues settlements in the West Bank. Hamas gains power in Gaza and splits from the Palestinian Authority, seeing it as being too secular. The West Bank and Gaza are now under separate leadership. Israel imposes a blockade restricting any form of movement by land, air, or sea. It's 2017, and this is the current situation of Palestine. There are solutions on the table, but will we see them implemented in our lifetime?
All right, so there is that. And
Who put that out?
TRT
Palestine went
World is the person that put that out. And that pretty much sums up pretty well what happened. You've got, the Zionists from essentially Europe who had wanted to, and that was Herzl, I think his name was. Theodor Herzl was the father of Zionism. This want to, bring back the Holy Land, what have you. Which everybody seemed to get on board with, and it has been a crap show ever since. I mean,
this is since I was old enough to remember. Israeli and Palestinians have not. I mean, they've been fighting the whole time. Lane, this isn't going to be the 2-hour live you just did. I promise you that.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for coming in, Lane. I had commented on your video a couple of.
You
comments.
watched this stuff?
Yeah, I'm Punalingus, by the way. That's me.
Okay.
You can laugh at that when you figure it out. Yeah.
No, this isn't going to be that type of show, but because I talked to Tim about this because there are rallies for Palestinians going on, and people are getting upset because of and this is what I was taught growing up. You had to support Israel. America has to support. We have to support Israel.
And if you don't, you're fucking anti-Semite. Okay?
Right, you have to support Israel, but I'd never understood why we had to support Israel, except that the Bible says you shall support Israel, or you will. When Revelation comes, you're gonna. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's in the Bible. You have to support Israel.
Right, it's God's people. Right, that's God's people.
Chosen people. Right.
But if you're a Christian, you believe that Jesus Christ was the Son of God.
But that's messing me up, though,
yeah,
Tim.
Jews don't believe that.
Right. Nobody in Israel believes that Christ was the Savior.
Mm-hmm.
They mention him as a prophet.
False prophet, I believe.
So why?
And that's why they handed him off to the Romans.
So why are these Christians supporting Israel that doesn't believe in Christ?
I mean, when you boil it down, it comes down to the God, right? Ultimately, Jesus is a figure in that story, not the ultimate end-all, be-all. But I think Christians kind of violate one of the 10 Commandments when they hold Jesus up and revere him as some thing, whatever. Thou shalt have no idols before me, but they, idolize Jesus in some way. So, I mean, it's a bit of a screwy situation, but they also believe that, in order for Jesus to return, Israel has to have been created again, and then, all of these things will come about. I guess they're wanting revelations. We want to come on, Jesus.
And before we get into Hamas, because I know we're going there, but
We're going there.
didn't the Jews, and I say Jews lightly, I mean, I'm not like you're the Jews, but didn't the Jews give Christ up?
Yes. Yeah. And that a lot of people think that's why they were persecuted. Others say they're persecuted because they were, controlled things. I mean, there's a lot of weird, hateful things that go towards Jews, which I've never fully understood.
Yeah, we're going to get in so much trouble for this podcast because I know
see, and I'm just going to call bullshit to that right there, because I can criticize the Israeli government, which is what I do, without hating on Jews. I have nothing against Jews anymore than I have anything against Christians.
I want to just off the top, because the Holocaust was horrible, and that's why they gave the Jews the Israel and declared it a state, and every American president since then has been like, this is the Jewish state of Israel. Well, it was a horrible thing, but you can't hate on the Jews here in America, because if you do, then you're an anti-Semite and you're Muslim. And
if you disagree with the policies of Israel, you're automatically considered an anti-Semite, and that's bullshit. Because once I learned the story about how it was created, because like you, I was just always told that, you got to support Israel. But then I start looking at what they do, and I'm like, why? That's like me supporting the plantation owners and being mad at the slaves for fighting back. Like, oh, you can't fight back. You can't have a slave uprising. That's
what do you mean? They don't have slaves in Israel?
Inhumane. The parallel is that you're being basically imprisoned in this area, which, if you look at Gaza, it's basically an open air prison. They have the entire Gaza Strip surrounded by wall, and then Israel controls the water on the shores. So they can't go anywhere.
Israel has it blocked off.
Yes, yeah. You're talking, I don't know, a few million people in that little bitty area in that map, the Gaza Strip. And they will do things like kick Palestinians out of their houses to move Israelites, Jews, whatever you want to call them, into there. It's systemic racism is what it is. And to me, it's got to stop. I mean, Amnesty International has deemed it an apartheid state, meaning you have one race or group, oppressing another race or group. So,
because I know you've been watching the news, and the UN is like condemning these attacks by Hamas. They're a terrorist organization, apparently.
Well, I mean, of course they're going to condemn it, because what they did was, I mean, if you're looking at it and watching it on the videos, they're kidnapping people, they're killing people. I mean, it looks terrible. But when you take it into the broader context of what those people have been dealing with over the last 60, 70 years, I mean, think about it. You had this group of people who were in Europe basically for 2,000 years or whatever. I mean, there have always been Jews that were in Palestine, ever since the diaspora or whatever. But it was never, this Jewish state. They just lived among each other in relative peace. Go for it.
Pull up Lane's last comment, because I want to speak to this, because this is what I know.
He says, hello.
Not that one.
If the Arabs put down their weapons today, there would be no more violence. If the Jews put down their weapons today, there would be no more Israel. But I mean,
here's the thing. If I don't know this, correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, you might know this more than I do, but I think Israel is the only country in the world that didn't sign the treaty that says we won't assassinate another president of another country, or a prime minister, or a leader of another country. Israel does whatever Israel wants.
Israel does do whatever Israel wants.
They go in and take care of shit, and they're just badasses. What is that
Yeah.
thing that they have? The elite group, like the SEAL team. It's called
Yeah,
something.
there's an acronym for it. I
Yeah,
can't remember what
I
they're
can't
called.
remember.
The
Yeah, but
LFB or
no, it's called the Mohad or
the
Muhad
Mossad.
Mossad. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you don't
Yeah.
fuck with them. They're gonna mess you up.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing though. Like you're going against a people that are restricted in resources that they can obtain for themselves. Like they restrict imports of concrete, steel, just based.
Who gives them electricity, running water, things like that?
Now, I assume they have their own power plants, but I imagine that probably also comes from Israel. They're treated as second class citizens, and they literally got walled in. They were like, oh, they created these terrorist tunnels. It's like, well, no, I mean, they created these tunnels so that they could get shit that they needed into their place. And did Hamas, this, as Jennifer said, they're militant, which they are. Did they also use those tunnels? Yes, but I think the vast majority of the use of those tunnels was to get resources into Gaza, because otherwise you can't just walk in and out of that place, right? There's checkpoints everywhere.
I know that, and I'm gonna catch shit on this one, but Israel has been described as a failed democracy because you have freedom of religion as long as your religion is Judaism.
Right. There is freedom of religion there, but you're not going to be treated well.
But
if
when
you aren't a Jew.
If you get an ID card, you have to put down what your religion is on that ID card.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. And it is supposed to be a democracy, but we've seen recently with Benjamin Netanyahu and what he does that it's really not. It's kind of like Russian democracy, where
he's been there all the time. Yeah, he's been. Right. It's Russian democracy. It really is.
Either way, you cannot say what is happening right now in Israel is okay. I've seen some of the worst videos on social, torturing, kidnapping. I mean, Lane, that stuff has been happening to them for my entire life, literally.
But my question,
I get what Lane is saying, and it's not good what Hamas is doing. But if you understand the context behind why they are doing it, it makes a little more sense. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's okay for somebody to go and invade somebody's house, kidnap their kids, burn their houses down. Of course, that's not okay. But when that's been done to you for 60 years, what are you supposed to do? Are the slaves supposed to just lay down their arms and be obedient? You know what I mean? That's like criticizing a slave uprising. It's like, well, that's wrong. You shouldn't have killed all of that whole family.
Pull up Jennifer's last comment real quick.
The Hamas are militant.
If you don't think Israelis are militant,
oh yeah,
here's the thing. This is why I have a problem. We're sending a carrier strike force over there to defend Israel, like they need defending.
They don't need defending. No.
Why are we involving ourselves in somebody else's business? I understand what is it? What do they call it? We have to. We're the mother of everybody. We have to take care of all of democracy and whatever. Right. My thing is, you have to look at it from a different perspective. You can't just say Israel because God said in the Bible we have to. If I came to Lane's house and held a gun to your head and said, you have to be atheist, you can't believe in God. And if you're not going to believe in God, I'm going to cut off everything that you get. You're not going to get food. You're not going to get healthcare. You're not going to get this. And you have to live underneath my law. And what are you going to do? You're going to get pissed off and you're going to fight back. So maybe that's what's happening. It's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a matter of, and Joe Vaden is right. There's a lot more to it than what you're allowed to see and read. And none of it's good. It's not good that Hamas feels like they need to do this. It's not good that Israel treats, Palestinians like shit. None of that is okay. But we need to get to a point where, I don't know, in my personal opinion, there's no going back on the creation of Israel.
No.
It's done. That's
done.
not going away. Palestinians need to accept that. The world needs to accept that. But at the same time, Israel probably needs to go back and relinquish the land that was not originally agreed to back to the Palestinians. Because whenever they came in there in the 48 or whatever, Israel would have owned 55% of the land, and Palestinians had like 45 point whatever percent of the land. But over the course of years, they've since taken more and more and more land. And there right now you're running up into the issue of is Israel finally going to just go into Gaza?
I think they are.
Wipe them out and then take every bit of what's left.
I think that's what's fixing to happen. We have the Ukraine war going on. We have Israel with a whole UN backing because this terrorist group Hamas. But
one man's terrorist group is another man's freedom fighter. Let's be clear about that.
I'm not condoning, absolutely not condoning what Hamas has done. They killed women and children.
Right.
But they're done. Nothing has worked, and their land and their resources and their children are starving, and they're not able to do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Piss on that. I would do this. I would come out fighting too, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Now, Lane could say the same about Ukraine. Well, I mean, if you want to look at a parallel between that Ukraine and this, Russia is a far bigger nation with a larger GDP, far more a better ability to create, produce ammunition and munitions. So them invading Ukraine, a smaller country, what are you supposed to do? Just let them have it because Russia's bigger? But I'd also like to point out that people that support Israel, which, because, it was their land, that's their holy land, that's, they were there 2,000 years ago. People don't want to recognize this fact, but they had left like 2,000 years prior to this, right? If you're okay with somebody saying, I was there 2,000 years ago, or my great.
Come on. I know where you're going. Come on.
Then why in the hell are Americans not trying to give the land back to Native Americans and say, you know what, all of this was yours?
Right.
How is that not hypocrisy?
You know why?
Because of religion.
The Holy Bible says it.
It's a religious thing. I mean, anybody coming out in support of Israel and not also denouncing the things that Israel does that are shitty, I think is just rank hypocrisy.
I agree.
That's my opinion. I mean,
I'm not over there. I don't know anything about Israel or Hamas or the Palestinians, except in the 80s. There was a war in the 80s that I knew about, I guess. I guess they had like a 1973. It was the last time they declared war.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and he was like, we're in war. It's like, dude, Palestinians have been in a war pretty much since the 50s. Like, what are you talking about? We're in a war now. I mean, it is so weird that Hamas would do this, because what the hell did they think was going to happen? Surely they didn't think that Israel was just going to be like, oh God, they took that. We better give it back to them.
Joe Vaden says the USS Liberty is the carrier strike force that's going over there. Yeah, we're fixing to spend millions of dollars. And then pull up Casey's, because I support Israel to defend themselves as anyone should.
Sure.
You don't support the Palestinians to defend themselves as anyone should?
Right. And is offense not part of defense? Israel declared that. Benjamin Netanyahu and Gantz, their military leader, he once said that.
That would be like
offense.
That would be like going back to Andrew Jackson when he took the land from the Indians and said, we have to move y'all, because if we don't, the people in Georgia are going to kill you. Yeah.
You could attack us. All right, Matt Grisson's got a big comment, so
let's do it. Let's do it, Matt.
I think this isn't equally comparable to Ukraine. This isn't just about preventing war. This is about defending our own country. Israel is our last line of defense against Iran. when they decide to violate the treaties like they already have. Look at the Iron Dome. It is for Israel's safety as well as ours. Iran's parliament. Sorry, my camera's in the way.
Iran's parliament just yesterday was shouting in session yesterday, "Death to America, death to Israel." We have to start believing dictators when they say they are going to do things like this. Iran's been screaming that for fucking ever, though.
And here's a problem with people that think that Iran is some like evil force.
They pretty much are.
I mean, but when you put somebody in a position where that's the only option they have left, what do? Yeah, it's like Vietnam. People criticized them for their guerrilla tactics, which were very effective. But what else do you have? What else can you do? Like Iran, for example, I made a post about this the other day. If you look up Project Ajax, we literally seeded a revolt in their country. We paid for and created this revolt that ousted their leader to install the Shah, who was friendly to us. But then I think it was in the 80s. This was back, right before the prison exchange with Reagan and stuff. Right before that, they took it back. And when they took it back, that's when they became our enemies.
Casey.
And it's been shitty ever since.
Why do you support Israel?
Oh, so, okay, Joe Vaden. Yes, I know what you're talking about. I don't know. They had basically bombed it or had put explosives on it or something. They did something to it, and nobody ever talked about it. It was our ship.
Israel did?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I got to look into that.
There is also conspiracy, and I'm going to throw it out there as conspiracy because I've never seen any real evidence to suggest that Israel had a hand in 9/11. Because there were
Tim, don't do that. Don't.
Well,
come on.
Well, I'm good. You can look it up for yourself. It's a conspiracy. There's not really any proof to it that I've ever seen. But just before 9/11 happened, a group of Israeli artists or what have you were given free reign to the towers, and they had shut off some of the floor levels so that they could do these videos or images or whatever from a helicopter. So they were
I remember that.
Yeah, flying the helicopter around, and then they were inside in between those deals, and they believed that, while they were there, they were able to, install these, the stuff. I mean, that's the conspiracy. So,
I want a solid reason why people are supporting Israel, though.
Right. Let's see. Casey Mayer, IL. They attacked without provocation. Yeah. And then everybody buried it. Everybody covered it up. So, matter of fact,
your comments are here?
Yeah, your comments are here, Jennifer.
We're pulling them up.
Yeah, I just pulled them up. Trump's policies didn't help Palestine. No, they
have
didn't.
A bunch of comments. Yeah.
Right. They didn't. And then this one, yeah, your comments, we can see them if that's what you're talking about.
Israel is our friends. What does that mean, Casey? I love you, Casey.
I'm okay with Israel being friends.
I love Israel. I love the Jews.
I have no issues with that. And the Israeli people are also sick and tired of what the government is doing. They had, there was a strike because there were families that were getting, literally Palestinian families that were getting kicked out of their houses to make way for Israeli families.
Here's my problem, Tim, is people say, well, they're fighting Palestinians, they're Muslims. I don't give a shit. I love everybody. If they're Muslims, that doesn't mean they all want to kill Americans and have a jihad or whatever they call it. It just means that they practice a different religion.
Right.
It doesn't. I don't understand the conflict just over religion is dumb to me. I can't even fathom it.
It is weird, especially when it's all related. The Abrahamic religions are
right.
I mean, it's all pretty much the same thing, but slightly different. So, Jennifer, I can't see anyone else's comments but my own on Loudmouths. So this speaks to the issue that Ron and I are having.
Oh, yeah.
We're growing Loudmouths, but
which is growing.
The people that show or that come to watch it, they tend to go to the Ron. So
I'm going to shut that down.
Yeah, you're going to see more on the Ron. At some point, we're going to stop streaming to the Ron. So if,
Yeah.
we'll ask if you're on Ron, go to the Loudmouse and make your comments there. That boosts engagement to the Loudmouse. That way we can try and grow that. Because eventually we won't stream to the Ron at all.
Right.
Because it's not the Ron, it's the Loudmouse.
It's Loudmouse. Yeah, and that was my suggestion because all of our engagement was coming from the Ron, which I love. It feeds my ego, but we're trying to grow this brand where we have different perspectives, and so anyway, that makes sense.
Their values are our values. Their heritage is our heritage. Their security is our security. Former Speaker McCarthy. I mean, Israel's values aren't my values.
They're not mine either.
Their security has nothing to do with the United States.
They're all about Israel.
Right. Israel will put Israel first, as it should.
As it
the U.S. should put the U.S. first, not Israel.
Now, I'm not saying we're not going to help out our allies.
Right, but we should also at the same time try to get Israel and Palestine back to the table so the shit stops. Like, what do you want? And now, if Hamas only wants full reign to the Palestine that used to be before they came in and stole the land from them, that's not going to happen. So Hamas will just have to, suck it up, Buttercup, because that's just not going to happen.
The same thing that the Native Americans had to do.
It's exactly the same thing. Like, anybody that supports Israel being able to take over all of that land should have no issues with the natives getting theirs back, because that happened even more recently than Israel.
I have so many people texting me telling me to stop talking about this. I'm not.
Well, look,
this is a discussion that needs to happen.
It is what it is, and people are. I'm sick of being called an anti-Semite for criticizing Israel. I'll be honest with you, because I don't know any Jews. I have no issue with Jews. It doesn't matter to me what your religion is or what your ancestry is. I don't care.
It's if you're a decent person or not.
Yeah. I mean, wrong is wrong, and that's, what they're doing is wrong. What Hamas is doing would normally be considered wrong, and it's terrible, but I get it.
Yeah, I saw some of those videos. That was some rough stuff. It really was, but...
It is. But there are more videos of Israel going into Gaza and blowing up their churches, blowing up their houses, blowing up everything. I mean, it's a mess over there. It's a mess over there.
It's been a mess for 2,000 years.
Yeah.
Or more.
There are allies and friends to the land of the free.
Casey, that doesn't give me a specific reason why you back Israel. I back Canada because they send us grain or fruit or whatever, and or Mexico sends us tequila, and we're good friends, and we got to protect that tequila. Yeah, tortillas, good Tex-Mex food. There's got to be there's nothing. It is racist, but there's nothing that I can think of that Israel provides to the United States. They're not like feeding our GDP like China does.
And in fact, a lot of these places, we have states that are requiring things to be signed that declare their fealty to Israel.
No, no. Are you serious?
Yes. Yeah, and federally too. What was her name? McKinnon. She's a black lady. Hold on. I'm gonna try to pull this up. Keep talking. I'm gonna look for it.
Was it Marjorie McKinnon?
No.
What? Yeah, I. No, you can't declare. No, not as a state. He's 100% right on that, Ron. Who is? Who's 100% right? Tim? He's never 100% right. Hezbollah.
God,
part of the issue also with Hamas is alliances with Syria and Hezbollah. I don't know anything about that. All I know is what the mainstream media tells me I should know.
Cynthia McKinney.
Cynthia, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and they called her an anti-Semite, but her issue was that she wasn't going to sign that document that swore allegiance to Israel. And give me just a second. I'm going to pull it up.
I got somebody that just texted me this. We have to stand up to them. If Britain and France had stood up to Hitler and taken him out in 1933, we wouldn't have had a Second World War.
I mean, that's possible, but the Second World War was a result of the like the Treaty of Versailles, which I mean, it basically turned them into a slave state.
It did. They had no way to feed their people. It just it crippled them.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about. Is you can't expect a vast majority of people just to say, "Oh, I'm going to take the beating for what other people did."
and of course, Google won't put anything up, so I'm gonna have to go to DuckDuckGo.
Oh, DuckDuckGo! I love DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
Oi, Jennifer Harmon says, "Oi."
Did you pull that comment down? Because I think I left it up.
Yeah, let me pull it
Okay.
down.
You keep talking because I'm still looking for this.
10-4. There are allies and our friends, but why do you think there are allies and our friends? Land of the free. Joe says he's 100% right on that, Ron. Israel, God, I'm getting so many comments on my phone. Israel can handle Hamas. The message is to Iran to back off.
Yeah, and there's a way to fix the issues with Iran is first to acknowledge the issues between us, which was that we tried to control them and their people took it back over. And they took some prisoners as a result of this, once they got it. We did the same thing in Hawaii, which ended up with us. We tried the same thing in Cuba. We're doing
same thing in Vietnam, I guess.
The same general thing is happening also in Fiji currently. So it's this is the problem with empires, which the U.S. unfortunately is that you go around and you need resources. This is one of the reasons that Europeans needed to find different land. They were running out of resources.
Why do you think that Europeans? Oh my gosh!
I'm getting.
Yeah, you got the same thing that I did.
Oh, probably. I guess you don't enjoy loyal friends, Ron. Yikes! That's
rough, Casey.
They
That's
are
rough.
loyal to us as we are to them. We have trustworthy relationships. They are our friends. The Hamas would do the same to us if they had access. Man, if my friend was treating somebody else like shit,
which they're almost like their brethren. I mean, they're probably all kin.
Well, I mean, that goes into a whole new thing, and people really call me racist if I say it. But you're so European Jews. If you notice, a lot of them look white, right? Why? Because they were there for like 2,000 years, right? And over time, some genetics had shown that like 80% of Ashkenazi Jews had European maternal genetics. So the moms were Europeans that had converted to Judaism. So then you start getting into the realm of, well, is it because you are a religion that you have some kind of right to a specific location because that's what your Bible or what have you, your Torah, tells you? I mean, I'm not here to answer that question. I'm just saying it. I think that's an interesting discussion because if you think about it, if we were to say that they were descendants from people who lived in Israel, Israel at the time, I think it was called Levant way back when, that they would have darker skin.
Joe says that he's not talking about this on this chat.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, because I mean, we're probably going to end up with death threats.
Oh, absolutely. And we're not anti-Semite. We're not pro-Palestinian. But this conversation needs to happen.
Well, okay, and here's another interesting thing: is that a Semite also includes Palestine.
And Casey says it's not treatment; it's murder. What is not treatment? It's murder.
Yeah, I'm not sure. treatment. Like, I mean,
Hamas murdered those people,
right? Nobody's saying that didn't happen,
and I don't condone their actions whatsoever. But when you're left with, my kids are going hungry, I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to do this for my family because I'm being treated this way.
Oh, Tim said bad treatment from friends. Well, I mean, that's just a figure of speech. You know, if you're treating somebody like shit, your friend is like literally imprisoning, 2 point some million people. I mean, do you not call them out on it? That's why, like, we tend to have friends that do terrible shit. Saudi Arabia. Did you know they have job openings for beheaders?
Yeah, I think Joe Biden went over there and shook hands with that Saudi prince.
They all do. The reason is that because of the oil. So, we have, and I don't know what Israel, other than a religious tie, some, religious, cultural, whatever, I don't know what they offer the United States.
Well, and then you had Jimmy Carter, who I love. He's like 98, 99 years old. But he tried to get he did get the peace in the Middle East thing with Saudi Arabia and Egypt and Israel, right?
Who's that?
Jimmy Carter.
I mean, they've all tried it, except for
the Camp David Accords or whatever it was.
Except I don't know that Trump really tried to get Palestinians and them to the table. He was more like, Israel all the way. Joe's comment, I'm leaving up here. I'm sure I would say something that someone would take out of context or wouldn't fully understand. This is
our show.
It is literally, what he's saying is correct because this happens.
Yep.
It happens
every
all
day.
the time. I get called an anti-Semite if I say, Israel shouldn't mistreat people because they're Arab or shouldn't mistreat somebody because they're Palestinian. You automatically become an anti-Semite. And there is this establishment narrative that Israel is our friend and Israel is this, and this is Democrats and Republicans alike spew this. They all, have some fealty to Israel, almost to the point of I question whether their loyalty lies with the United States or with Israel.
That's a good point.
I think some of these people have more love for Israel than they do the United States.
You have politicians today that are like, we stand behind Israel. We are with Israel. But they're from the Midwest and Texas, and they're Christians, and they claim Christian values. And Israel, Judaism, the Jews, turned Christ over to be killed. It's just
if you believe what the Bible says.
If you believe what the Bible says, yes.
Right. So
it does not make sense to me. I cannot process that.
Well, I believe, and let me look it up and see. I believe that part of the Christian belief that when Jesus comes back is that it requires that Israel be a nation. Let me look it up real quick. Keep talking.
Yeah, I think that's right. There will be it's like it's the rapture, Revelation. Israel will have its people come back to its holy land. Our lieutenant. Oh, I got to pull this up, Tim.
Oh, Matt Pinnell.
Leading a group to Israel in about a month. I bet he doesn't.
And look at that. Look at that. This is a state governor.
Lieutenant governor at that. Yeah.
Right. And it wouldn't surprise me if he does that. Think of that.
What is an action? Oh, that's
Christian. Yeah, yeah.
Why don't you say Christian? Don't be lazy. Type out the word.
Assuming a literal interpretation of. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was in there, but it's been a while since I've read Revelations. There was an expectation. Yeah, some Christian theological beliefs about Israel have political implications, such as certain Christian Zionists, that's interesting, actively support the state of Israel based on their eschatological views. So, yeah. Amillennialism, which is the dominant eschatological view of the Roman Catholic Church, Eastern Orthodoxy, and mainline Protestant denominations, interprets many of the prophecies regarding Israel in a spiritualized or allegorical manner. In this view, the church is seen as the new Israel, inheriting the promises made to the ancient Israelites. All right, that's like Chinese to me.
Yeah, that's Mandarin Chinese to me.
Yeah, so I mean,
If you love Israel, but give me a real reason why you love Israel.
okay, Israel's not going away, and nobody's asking that Israel be like, scattered across the globe again as they were before.
No.
But can't people who are for Israel also concede that Palestinians have a right to access to healthcare, to food, to building materials,
Just
so that they
basic
can build
needs.
schools,
Basic
their basic
needs.
right functions of everyday life. I mean, I believe Gaza is the most populated, per square foot or square mile area in the world, because
Well, it's the Holy Land.
They've the Gaza Strip, because they've been, all those refugees fled to it because that was the only safe space.
And
Because
this is going
Israel
to be
had taken everything out.
this is going to be so insensitive, but it's all fucking desert.
Yeah.
Why are we fighting over rocks and sand?
To live as a civilized society, yes. And when you're not allowed to live as a civilized society, then you stop being civilized. I mean, if you aren't allowed to just, like, and think of it this way, this is a really good way to put it. When we went to Iraq, we created a lot of American haters, right? Because the kids that grew up over that 20-year period, do you think they loved us?
In Iraq?
Probably
No.
In Afghanistan, right? Probably not. So actions like that, and I think actions that Israel takes towards Arabs or Palestinians, creates this hate for them. And it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, well, if we do this, people are going to hate us for it, and then we can turn around and call them anti-Semites and say, wow, you're just a bigot, which is, is weird.
Oh, we're going to get so much trouble over this when people are going to hate us.
Civilized equals democracy. Yeah, I mean,
I don't agree. I don't agree.
You can have certainly a civilized nation that isn't a democracy.
I think for tens of thousands of years before we even could speak words, people were civilized and knew they had to take care of each other in order to prolong life.
Right. And now, the U.S. is essentially an oligopoly. Like we're run by corporations, because think about it. You get to vote, but you only get to vote for the people that are put up in front of you, right? You don't get to just vote for whoever you want. I guess some states have, where you can fill in a name, but
I think I have to disagree with Jennifer on this last comment.
let's see. Technically,
And I love Jennifer, but yeah, go ahead.
civilized society has its own government, has its own religion, has its own language, has its own culture.
Here's what I would say to this. A civilized society, I think, is when you start to bury your dead. Like you show, like you don't just leave them for the vultures. You become civilized when you pay respects to your dead.
Oh, she's saying that's what the scholastics refer to it as. Interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know what? Let me chat GPT that. What is a civilized society?
I thought that it had some type of like burial process. That's what I've always been told.
Social order, cultural and technological advancements, economic systems, ethical and moral codes, respect for rights.
Well, I was completely fucking wrong then.
Interpersonal relationships, cultural relativism, historical uses. Civilized is relative and can differ across cultures and epochs. What one society or era considers civilized might be different from another. That's actually a great point, because they considered Native Americans to be not civilized. Yeah.
Right.
When you actually look at the way their societies function, they were very civilized. They
Thank you for that,
obvious.
Jennifer. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great
Just
point.
war tradition. Yeah. Thank you. Savages. Right. Oh, they're savages. Just because you don't understand what the hell they're doing doesn't mean that they haven't,
Right.
that they haven't figured it out. I mean, shit, they've been there for,
They're
basically
not
forever.
they're not civilized like we are civilized.
Right. Our version of civilization or civilized society.
And that's what
match up.
that goes to the point of they're not religious like we're religious.
Right. Right. And as I'd read this paper that Jennifer had written, I don't know if it was I don't think it was a dissertation, but talking about the different views of how religions can all basically, where God or whatever God there is, some higher power, is actually in all of those religions, like regardless of how they view or call that God a God, that higher power must have a hold on all of those religions and be the thing that is what it is, essentially.
Right.
Which is, I mean, makes sense to me, because otherwise, is it God? Is it actually a God?
Hey, we got a few minutes here left. I've been sick the last couple of days. I'm sorry for not posting or doing anything. We're going loud. We're going loud on the Loudmouth the next couple of days. We got some great guests. So let's pivot. We got Grant Miller coming on tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Dude has had 17 ethics complaints. I think that's right. 17 ethics complaints. 15 of them have been dismissed.
What was the lady's name? Linda Hare Grant or something?
Linda Hare Grant. She actually, I put a picture of her up on my Facebook profile page.
She got butthurt.
And she got butthurt, and she went and said, "Oh, he's stealing my intellectual property." And in fact, I was. So I had to take it down. But anyway, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Linda Hare Grant and this ethics violation thing that's going on with Adam Miller, Tulsa City Council.
I say if you are lodging frivolous complaints like that, your ass should have to pay if they you do 17 at once. Were they all coming from her?
All of them were coming from 17. And 15 of them were dismissed, but then she piled on 2 more at the end. They haven't even looked at those 2, so they're going to probably dismiss those.
See, if somebody does that's that's bullshit. Somebody shouldn't be able to do that because that costs the city money because they have to then investigate. And if it's all bullshit, then that person, it's like filing a false police report.
I believe so. You're taking up city's time, city's money. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be one thing if you filed, one complaint on this person about a specific thing and it didn't go. And then you filed another complaint at some point in time and that didn't go through. That's different than 17, I assume, all at once. It was the same day, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's 15 the same day, and then there was 2 piled on afterwards. So, but the city council was like, no, we're dismissing these 15.
I guess she made that point at a council meeting a month ago.
Yeah, Bert Mumolo, a friend of ours, did a story last night on KTUL Channel 8 about it, and you can go look at that on their Facebook page. But Grant Miller is going to be on here tomorrow night at 6 p.m. to talk about that and other stuff going on in Tulsa. And then Tim, tell him about Tuesday. I'm excited about Tuesday.
Oh, we got Monroe Nichols, y'all, mayoral candidate, current sitting House representative. So it's going to be awesome. The dude's hilarious.
I love Monroe. I love him.
Yeah, it should be a really exciting show. Should be funny. I mean, when all 3 of us get together, there's no telling what the hell's going to come out.
That was a really good lunch that we had that day with Monroe. It was.
I was surprised. I was like, wow, he's like more personable than I thought he would.
Oh yeah, he was very down to earth.
Yeah, he was.
What time is Tuesday's show?
6 o'clock too, and or is it 5?
No, I thought it was earlier in the day.
I'd have to. You're right. It may be 1 o'clock. Let me look.
Yeah, let's let everybody know because I'm excited about that one.
I got it in my calendar. I'll just pull up my calendar. Let's see. 2 to 3. 2 to 3. Yeah, so
2 to 3. Okay.
3 o'clock. And if you're not sure, go to the Loudmouth, and we do have posted there what you know,
next
times.
and Facebook and YouTube. Pull up Jennifer's last.
Let's see. Apologies in advance for throwing a wrench in that podcast when it happens.
Do it, Jennifer.
No, by all means, go full bore.
Tell
on
all
that
your
one.
friends to do it too.
Yeah. Say things you're not supposed to say. Do it. That's what Loudmouth is all about. You know what? We need to do an outro video.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's
We do need a. Okay, so since we got people on here, I'm gonna go ahead and play this video again. This is our new intro, and tell us what you think. Yeah, here's the video. You know what's awesome?
What's awesome besides America, Tim?
Besides myself, the fucking Loudmouths are awesome.
Do you know why the Loudmouths are awesome, Tim?
Because we can say shit that you can't say in real life. That's what we do. And
Every
guess
day.
what, Ron? Guess what?
What? Tell me what.
We're going live in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
I think we can do better, but I like it.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
We're working on it. Yeah.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Yeah, we should do an outro video also.
And I'm sorry I'm wiping my nose. I got COVID or something. I'm like dying here.
Oh God,
Whew.
don't give it to me, man. You give me a computer virus.
I know.
You give me a computer virus. You know that the new version of COVID, it infects computers too. I've heard. But don't worry, because Pfizer actually came out with a vaccine. You just inject it right into your computer.
Is that you just squirt bleach on your computer and just you're good?
Well, yeah, you just spit on it.
My ex, I'll say this: my ex got the she got the Pfizer vaccine.
Wait, Casey.
Vaccine.
I'm surprised you took it easy on Dusty Devers. When did I take it easy on Dusty?
Let's talk about this. We got like a couple minutes. Let's go.
Well, I mean, I wanted Dusty to come on the show because JJ was wanting to come on the show. And
but
so
I didn't want Dusty on the show.
We wanted all the people on there. Now, it was going to be a struggle for me either way because, you know, I'm not into the whole, you know, let me force my religion down your throat crap, which is so weird to me. And I just made a post or a comment about this, that they're pushing this religion in school, right?
Yep.
Where they're trying to get electives in school, Bible study electives or whatever. And I'm like, look, 80% of Oklahoma is Christian. You'd think that like, what do you need to convert the other 20%? I don't understand. I don't get it. You can't get away from it.
Who are you going to save if you don't have anybody else to save? Yeah.
Right. What the hell? And if you aren't teaching your kids about your religion, then is that not a you problem? Why is that a public school issue? I don't. Let's see. Yeah. Well, he is. He is what? I missed something.
He is well.
He is well. Oh, dude, that's the video we need to put up.
Oh,
at the end. His kids are not even in public school. Yeah, he's probably a religious private.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, his kids are not in public school, so he wants to homeschool and Bible school stuff. Dusty Devers, I'll say this.
By all means.
The dude, I've been married 3 times. I could be publicly shamed if this dude gets elected. Because he wants to bring back public shaming of at-fault divorcees or divorcees or whatever. If you're found at fault in your divorce, you get publicly shamed, according to Dusty Devers.
Well, and not just that, but that they won't grant divorce unless there is fault.
Right.
Which means the government is saying, even though you don't want to be in this marriage anymore, you don't have a good reason to not be. So we're not going to grant your divorce.
And he also pissed off a bunch of people in Comanche County of the female gender because he wants to abolish abortion. Not like put limits on it. He wants to abolish. If I go down there to Comanche County and rape somebody, I know you're not supposed to say the R word, but
as if Christianity depends on divorce.
Right. He wants to legislate morality. He wants to tell women
bullshit
what they can and cannot do, and it's
sick
gross.
of it. Sick of y'all. Let's bring the pendulum back here, okay?
We got to
right now. It's just in it, and it's going that way. You know, it's already up here, but it's going that way.
Oh, it's swinging that way hard. And Dusty Devers is like a piece of lead swinging at some bitch that way.
He's like pushing it back. It's like, oh, we're not extreme enough. We need to go further, y'all.
No, he
Because
doesn't, Casey. Stop. You gotta have proof before you say that.
yes,
man.
no, yes. This
Are you
is correct.
serious?
He wants to criminalize it. Yes, yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah, yeah. He wants to criminalize abortion, which it was in. And I'd made a post about this in.
Fuck that dude, man.
Remember that day I went live when they had David Barton at the committee, education committee.
Yeah.
So at the last part, I kind of did a monologue about it, and in there I was talking about that, like, if they deemed that something happened to the the zygote that happened to be the woman's fault, if they believe it was the woman's fault, criminal prosecution, bullshit.
You can't. You cannot do that.
Yeah. But like, well, you didn't stay in bed like the doctor told you to, and that led to the miscarriage of your child, and therefore you're a murderer. And you'll spend 30 years behind bars.
My God. Oh, my God.
Like, but don't worry. We'll send some trans women in there to help you out and give you more babies.
And I'm saying this. Yeah, Tim always does his homework. That's why he runs. I've had people.
Thanks, Casey.
I've had people contact me from GOPs around the state. Why are you involved in this Dusty Deavers JJ thing? Well, because he wants to abolish abortion and public shame everybody that gets a divorce. And they're like, well, I don't agree with that, but he is the patriot in the movement. The fuck he is. No, he's not.
Right. How is he any more patriotic than the rest of them? I don't.
It's gross.
It's like, well, the only patriots are the ones that try to own women again.
What does heretical teaching mean?
A heretic would be somebody that goes against, I think, the word of God, or against the Bible. So heretical teaching would be where are you seeing that? I don't see.
It's Jennifer, yeah,
that's militant heretical teaching, right? Let's see. Or using the word of God as something is heretic. I may have my definitions fucked up, but I'm sure Jennifer can correct me.
What he is saying that Christianity is
deviate from the established doctrines, accepted belief of a particular religion. So yeah.
Yeah, he's out there. He's crazy. He's like Jonestown fucking crazy. If you're in Lawton or Comanche County, I don't give a shit who you vote for, as long as it's not Dusty Deavers, because that dude is out there.
Yeah, what he's saying is that Christianity is heretical. It's not that someone is a heretic. It's that what they're saying is heretical. Yeah. Well, I mean, call a spade a spade.
That is coming up on Tuesday, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with Monroe. He's not going to be a representative, but, that's something that affects the entire state. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you do?
People are like, why are you worried about what's going on in Lawton? Because this dude's going to be a fucking senator. For me, he's going to introduce bills that he's going to sit on a committee and do shit. Yeah.
And people need to realize that the best kind of legislation actually comes when you have, around 50-50. Yes, you get less legislation, but less legislation is often better than just pumping out left and right crap.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So
you get more input.
Yeah.
You make better decisions.
Yeah. So even if you're not a Democrat, find a moderate Democrat and put them in office and replace some of the Republicans, because they're currently it's just shifted too far one way. You get better bills because both sides have to be like, okay, we'll concede this, we'll concede that, and then we'll move forward and get something done.
I know Jennifer's going to give me problems with this one, but Melissa Provenzano was one of our best shows. It got quite a bit of views, probably because she didn't brush her hair. But people were contacting me from the right, and they were like, after watching your show with Melissa, she seems like a genuine, down-to-earth, middle, moderate type person.
Right, because she is, and most all of them are that are there.
Right.
I mean, it's it is what it is. But same is true with most Republicans that are in office, I think.
Right. Unless you're Dana Pareto.
But then you put them all together, and they're like, well, shit, we can do whatever we want as a caucus because we got all the power and control here, and that's
Right.
what you end up with. It's and they're not going to take blame for the fact that our education system in Oklahoma is crap.
It's horseshit.
I mean, you'd think you'd want to change the horse if the horse ain't getting it done.
Yeah. Oh, Jennifer says I loved her show. Yeah. Okay. Great. I'm glad.
Yeah, yeah. It was
I had
good.
so many
It
people
was
reach
good.
out to me. They're like, that Melissa Provenzano, she wasn't bad.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of our show is that they can come on here and be. They don't have to be the politician. They can just be their person.
Yeah,
That way
we're just
people can see them as people.
chit chatting with some bullshit.
Just some bullshitting with some bullshitters.
I can't wait for Monroe to be on here. In fact, I don't want to say this, but I will because I'm Ron. This will be our very first African American guest,
Will it?
and I love black people. Yes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it matters, but
No, it doesn't matter. But I just
Yeah.
love black people. I'm like, yes.
interesting. Yeah, that's cool. I guess.
We don't discriminate. We love everybody.
Yeah. Hell, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I think you are right. I don't think we've ever had a. Well, we can get some more. We can get that Reverend on from Jennifer's Reverend.
Hatcher, Dr. Hatcher.
No, the guy she had sent that video to us. Jennifer did.
Oh,
Remember
Muhammad.
yeah, from North
yeah.
Tulsa. He
Yeah,
does
Jennifer worked
little
that out
show.
for us. Yeah.
Yeah, we can get him on.
Would love to have that dude on.
Probably to be the first Cherokee on the show. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're
Cherokee Casey. Cherokee Casey.
right. Yeah, that's Devers is Casey's neck of the woods, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm sorry, Casey. I'm sorry, buddy.
Man, you need to go strong the next day or two, man.
Oof,
I mean,
yeah.
come out, dude.
Now I understand why he said that I didn't go hard enough because he's like, please, somebody help.
Yeah, please.
We got too much crazy around here.
There's so many white people in Lawton that they're going to vote for Dusty Devers to save their soul.
Dusty Devers, loving them beavers. All right. Well, that's all we got for today, y'all. Do you have anything else, Ron?
No, except COVID testing.
No, man, you better go get that done. I hope you can breathe and talk tomorrow because it's coming.
I'm going to be drinking some NyQuil here in a little bit and just try to rest.
All right, well, take it easy on that stuff. That's not good for you. All right, everybody.
Trump says it is.
He's the coolest motorcycle riding dude. 100% good people. Yeah,
Tim and I used to ride motorcycles. Yeah.
I had to get rid of I didn't have to, but I traded it in and got a car because I do deliveries and stuff, and mine broke down. I was like, you know what? I need to get a better car. So,
yeah.
But I plan to get a motorcycle again. Anyway, all right, that's it for today, guys. We appreciate y'all showing up and showing your support for the show. Not necessarily our opinions, but for the show. We appreciate that. All right, we'll catch you all next time. Peace.
See ya.